Cool, cool, cool. What's going on, everybody? We want to welcome y'all to another episode of the Lions Den Corona Files. What I want to do is make sure we give a special shout out to everybody that's watching live. Thank y'all, and make sure you stick around to the end. Make sure you stick around to the end because we got a special surprise for y'all. But without all that, let's go around and holler at the den. All right, what you got, Herm? What's going on, fella?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Hope everybody is doing well. I'm doing all right. As I'm opening up, I want to give a special shout out to the fired up chief, Mr. Juan Lewis, who's recovering from COVID right now. As y'all can see, if y'all follow him on Facebook, y'all can see that he really whooped his ass. So he's coming back to us, and we can't wait to hear from him.
Right on. Yep. What you got, Will?
What's going on, everybody? St. Louis, stand up. Hey, keep the faith, man. Take care of each other. They're will in the building, baby.
All right. Foots, what's up, Foots?
Man, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining in to the Lions Den podcast. All my people down there in Miami, Florida, stay off the streets, stay safe, and listen to the curfew. Respect the curfew.
Okay.
That's all I can say.
Right on. Nate Dogg, what's up, Nate?
Grateful to be here. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Chattanooga, Tennessee. Thank you for your support, your donations, team effort. So I greatly appreciate everyone tuning in, and special shout out to my hometown, and hopefully everyone remains safe and recover.
Right on. Larry, the dog, the legend. What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's up, everybody? I just want to give a real quick shout out to this lady named Miss Hunt. 92 years old today. I shared a story on my page. Worked at the hospital for 60 years. And due to this corona epidemic, she's unable to be at work for the last 6 weeks. And she's 92, bro. Still work 12-hour shifts.
Wow.
So her co-workers stopped by her house, gave her a welcome home birthday party type deal. They celebrated her birthday, man. It was a real touching story. So I want to give a shout out. I don't know the lady, never met her, but she probably took care of me because I was born there myself. I've been there myself. So shout out to her, and hopefully she here is somewhere. Happy birthday.
Wow, yeah, happy birthday. That's what's up. So, hey, everybody, if y'all been tuning in, we appreciate that. And we just want to roll into the topic of today. The topic of the day, y'all, is being you, or not just that, being enough. All right. And think about what that means. And, by the way, at any time, go ahead and comment. Let us know that y'all watching. Give us y'all area code so we can give y'all a shout out. But being enough, what does that mean? All right, just think about it. What does that mean? And I can hit it up real quick as far as, being enough or being who you are can sometimes get mixed up because you may not feel as though you're able to be yourself, and someone is always holding you to a different standard that's not your own. Okay. And if you're not careful, you can fall victim of doing things that's not worth it or is not even in line with you. I read something the other day that said sometimes the ladder of success is leaned up against the wrong building. Okay. Sometimes the ladder of success is leaned up against the wrong building. So when you're climbing and doing everything you got to do, in the midst of that, are you doing what's naturally you, and why? So who want to chime in on that? Who got that?
I can step up for that one, man.
All right, go ahead.
When it relates to a lot of individuals, they don't believe in running their own race. They're so busy looking left and looking right, and they're not looking at their own progression. And I attribute it to sometimes a person that may have low self-esteem, may be influential by other individuals because they don't think they can because of their own level of confidence. But running your own race is important, and having a circle of individuals that can motivate you the right way and not the wrong way, so you allow yourself to be yourself and come into your own blessing. That's my.
I could dig that. That make a lot of sense. What you got, Herm?
So about being you and being enough, right? being in the military, you know, I don't want to keep this military centric, but we got people coming from all walks of life that we don't really know when they come in. And you could tell when somebody just try to reinvent themselves. Like, you know, that's not the person. You know what I mean? And they're trying to act like a whole brand new cat that's coming to you. And you can always see right through that. You know what I'm saying? Because the real you is going to eventually show. You know what I'm saying? So you might as well go ahead and lead with that. Now, there is nothing that says you can't build upon who you are. But to change yourself at the core, you know what I mean, and not be authentic, people are going to see when you're not being you.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And you know what? That's when individuals feel like they lost it, right? It's like, now you see me, right? Now you see me. What you got? Big Nate?
No, I would sit up there and say that it is so easy to be caught up in the system, and sometimes when you're so focused on the system, you forget the important piece, and that's you. And sometimes we get in a situation where, you know, we may be so focused on a position, and this is not even military related. You know, we may be focused on. We may have our minds so wrapped up on a position, you know, rather than our passion and why we decided to be in the situation that we're in at that present moment. So, you know, I wrote something down, you know, where it says, why is it so hard to focus on, why do we as individuals focus on a blame rather than a blessing? And why do we make that the norm? And I can say that I'm a product of that. You know, I found myself in situations where, you know, I would tell myself, you know, why did this happen? Or, you know, blame this person, blame this individual, where, you know, we know that in life, you know, we are where we are because of how hard we've worked to get to that point, but also know that, you know, there's timing that's associated with that. So, I would just say that, you know, just continue to just focus on our blessing, just continue to focus on a path, just continuing to mentor, mold, inspire, you know, and utilize ourselves, you know, and our potential to continue to give back. So I hope that makes sense.
No, I mean,
we just have to know for ourselves. We just have to know to ourselves that we too are important. You know, and one of my good friends, you know, Jay Brown said that, hey, you know, putting the you back in the uniform, not trying to tie this back to the military, but putting the you back in uniform. You are who you are. So never forget that. Never forget that.
You know what? I'm glad you said that. And I know we don't like to stay on the military, and I'm going to come to you, Larry, in a minute, but I know we don't like to stay on the military, but when you are in the military or any organization, and Herm hit on it, you try to redefine yourself, especially if you're from a place originally and then you go somewhere else, don't know you, now you can reinvent yourself. And I've seen it a million times in Korea. Shout out to those that did their bid in Korea, but you see it all the time, like, who is this cat, right? So put it like that, and this is just my thought process. In your eyes, you see a lane. Okay, you know a lane when you see a lane, and then it's like, okay, why don't you just be who you are and be comfortable in your own skin? Because the individuals that's go rock with you regardless. You get what I'm saying? You don't have to, you know, get into this and do into that and then kind of like fake the funk, because people can see through that. What you think, Larry?
Hey man, I agree, and I'll tell you this: if you can't look in the mirror and truly reflect on what you see on the other side of that mirror, you got issues. And you probably need to have that talk with yourself anyway, because you should be able to be who you are in your own skin. Now, that doesn't mean, you know, in certain situations, you got to, you know, be professional. You can't truly be who you are when you know, in different groups. But overall, your core should not be any different than any other day. Like, you should be who you are. So we got a podcast, a professional development thing we're doing tomorrow with our flight. And our chief sent out a book for us to read called the Energy Bus. And the book's so damn good, I had to order it. Like, I'm not even joking. It's that good. And it's all about positive energy and knowing who you are, and then spreading it on to the folks you work with, and getting rid of all that negative energy, the complainers, whoever else they'll eventually fall off, or they'll come back on once they see that, okay, this bus is moving in a really good direction. It just takes some reflection, you know. So
yeah, and you know what? That makes sense too, because but in order to give that energy, your positive energy, whatever it is, you got to know you first, man. You get what I'm saying? You got to know you first. And sometimes in order to get to that place, you have to be okay with you. You get what I'm saying? Hey, Herm, you thinking about, I see, Herm, you got something. I know you saying something. Hey, what you got?
Because you're right, man. Some people don't like themselves. You know what I'm saying? So that goes back into the reinventing themselves. You got to be comfortable in your own skin before you can grow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We don't all come perfect. We know that. You know what I'm saying? We're not all perfect leaders. But when you recognize what you're weak at, you know what I mean? That don't mean you destroy everything. You got to build that stuff up slowly. You know what I'm saying? And you got to like yourself in order to do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hey, Foots, man, what you think, brother? What you think about being you and the need for individuals to have to reinvent themselves?
I don't think they should have to do it. I mean, it's self-identifying within yourself first, man. You can't make yourself be better in life unless you happy first. And then you got these people out here that are trying to keep up with the Joneses and trying to follow somebody else's and how they doing and how they moving, when first you got to fix yourself. And that's what it's about at the end of the day, man. Seriously. You got to be about yourself first. Make yourself happy. And when you can make yourself happy, you can make somebody else's life happy.
Right. Go ahead. What you got, Will? He's still muted. Go ahead.
All right. So to his point, I think a lot of times when you talk about people reinventing themselves, they're afraid on how they're going to be perceived if they decide to be themselves. Mm-hmm. So they keep up this facade, hoping to be accepted. To me, as I said before, it's a confidence thing, but also the environment that you put yourself in that make you feel like you have to do that. Your circle defines almost how you conduct yourself to a certain degree because they accept you for you. And sometimes people just surround themselves with the wrong people that make them feel they need to act tough or they need to be a certain way when they're not comfortable just being themselves because they're afraid of the opposition. How people going to treat me, how people going to perceive me. When it boils down to it, you from the hood, you from the hood. Don't mean you cannot still be a good person. Does not mean you still can't be impactful. Don't mean you still can't be a leader because of where you come from. Because where you come from does not define you. Who you are defines who you are. You're
right. And so we're going to transition because that's a great point. You do who you are does define everything. However, what we have to keep in mind is our environment. You have to, because there is times when you have that individual that's a mentor and they see something that's in you, but they're trying to say, hey, listen, you might want to turn that down. And I'll tell you something too, man. I'm going to be completely honest. There was individuals in my career that tried to let me know, hey, turn it down. Like, okay, everybody know you from the D. You did, but everybody don't have to know you from the D, if that makes sense. You see what I'm saying? So it wasn't until later on in my career I finally got it, because the energy that I was putting off was attracting individuals to me authentically, right? And so what happens is if I'm trying to force something that I'm not, is going to be so transparent, and then that transitions out to how I conduct myself in the civilian life or just networking with regular people. You feel me? What you got, Herm, to that point?
So to that point, man, like when we talk about personal life, man, I'm thinking about relationships as well. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we measure ourselves up with like what can we bring to the table? Are we enough? And I remember me, a personal story for me, I ran into that situation once where I was like, damn, I really don't measure up to. I used to hear people say, like women say, man, women are intimidated by me because of my success and all this and the third. And I thought that was all BS. Until I found myself in those shoes, like, damn, what do I really have to offer this woman? Am I really enough? And it altered the whole way that I moved and how I talked. I was like, I don't see why she even wants to deal with me, other than I make her laugh. You know what I mean? So that hit me pretty hard, because I always thought, man, only a weak man would feel that way. You know what I'm saying? I never regarded myself as a weak dude, But here I am feeling this way with this woman that I think is actually better than me. I didn't think like that I was enough when she was trying to tell me that I was. I didn't know how to handle that. So, you know, what I had to do was break up with her and find this chick that worked at Taco Bell. And
man, shut
happy,
up.
man.
See, that's why I can't stand you. That's why I can't stand you.
And we all lived happily ever after that.
No, and so look, but you know what? Even though I can't stand you, that's a good point, right? Because sometimes what we do is, unfortunately, because there's individuals that we are intimidated by, we lower our own standards. You get what I mean? We lower our own standards, unfortunately, but it's not necessary because no matter what, whoever's rocking with you is going to rock with you. You feel me? Whoever's rocking with you is going to rock with you. But we do that. And I mean, I think that's human nature for real until the individuals know themselves. You feel me? What you think about that, Nate?
So I want to share something, and you know, I've been keeping this in, and you know, I'm just gonna put it out there.
Why are you keeping it in, bro? This is the Lions Den. You know how we do.
It's one of those things, you know, where you talk about protecting your energy, and we had the great Chief Todd Simmons on here last week. Kudos, grateful for him taking the time out of his day, and Seth, thank you for putting that on, and the team. And I would say, you know, it is so important, you know, to protect your energy and know who you are personally and professionally and why you do what it is that you do.
Facts.
I had a situation that occurred to me one day. Someone would take a look at me and say, we want Nathan Jackson on our team. And, you know, sometimes you will ask yourself, well, why? Why me? And sometimes people can take a look at you and they can say it's your charisma, it's your intellect, it's your ability to speak, it's your passion for what you bring to the audience. And that can be taken wrong to other individuals who may not know you. And what I'm getting at is that I had someone sit up there and tell me one particular time, and I'm not gonna say any names or whatever. I'm just gonna it happened at an award ceremony, and an individual stated that here I am, a tech sergeant, and they stated that you need to allow chiefs to be chiefs, and you remain a tech sergeant. And when that was dropped on me, I was like, wow,
what?
You know,
no,
yes.
Who said that? No, all right,
yeah.
All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yo, you must have had a hell of an influence for somebody to come tell you that. That's all I'm going to say.
And I'm being straight honest. I am being straight honest. I'm not sugarcoating anything. You need to allow chiefs to be chiefs, and you remain a tech sergeant. And it wasn't this individual that thought of me as that way. It was just something that was just brought to the attention. And so for a while, I sort of distanced myself. And I had to go back to the drawing board and say, what is going on here? You know, why is it that no matter what it is that I do, out of the goodness of my heart, because I'm passionate about what it is that I want to do, I want to mentor, I want to mold, I want to inspire, I want to give back ultimately. Why is this coming to a surface? And I had to go back and remember, I had a great conversation with a peer of mine, and he said, no matter what situation that you're going through, if you are being attacked and someone is coming to you about a situation, just understand that it's not you, it's them. And once I went back to that place or whatever, I finally told myself, okay, I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. People can just automatically just be jealous of you because you have a certain skill set that they will never, ever be able to obtain. And you have to be the bigger person to understand that, hey, I'm not going to change who I am just simply because I need to make this individual or this organization or this team happy. Now, I can be respectful, I can be tactful, but I'm not going to change my identity because my identity is what got me here in the first place. And I know my character. I know my credibility. I know my circle of influence. I know my why. And I just wanted to bring that. But we have to understand that we have to protect our energy at all costs.
And you know what? I'm glad you said that, man. And kudos for you to you, you know, for that. And, you know, the unfortunate part is that sometimes, man, our natural energy, our natural vibe will intimidate someone else's spirit, bro. You feel me? it would intimidate someone else's spirit. I mean, I can go on and on about my career and the things that happen, you know, just because a person just didn't dig it, you know what I mean, or dig me naturally, you know. Like I've heard individuals talking to, you know, it was a one-on-one conversation with two high-ranking individuals, and basically that brother said, well, not the brother at the time, but he said, you know what, we need to bring him down from his high horse, talking about someone else. Okay, meaning this dude was getting it in, bro, and effortlessly, just with no effort, you know, just getting it. And they took it upon themselves. They took it upon themselves to make sure that his report didn't reflect the influence that he had on purpose. But one thing I will say, because it happens all the time, the individuals that have this happen to them, do not fret. All right, do not fret. And that's going back to what we're talking about, being enough. Sometimes, or a lot of times, you being you is enough. Not everybody's going to give you the validation that you think you deserve. Okay, never, because you can go 100 miles per hour every day, and someone still is not going to like you. It's not the fact that they don't like what you're doing; they love what you're doing. But maybe it's the fact that it's you doing it, and you can't change you. You get what I'm saying? You can't change you.
Itself, and I appreciate that. And you know, I brought up your event last time, and you know, I brought up Chief Todd Simmons because you know he talked about he put himself out there. He was being vulnerable, and he talked about, you know, this is what leadership should be, and this is how we should go about doing X, Y, and Z. And I noticed that in the thread, people will always say, well, why don't we have leadership like this now? Why is it that this is not being, you know, taken care of? Why is it that we continue to experience leadership? And one caveat that I wanted to point out was, why is it that individuals continue to invest their time, as I stated earlier in the statement, focusing on the blame rather than focus on the blessing? If you know the importance of protecting your energy, you know that we have toxic leadership that's out there, why am I going to continue to talk about the toxic leadership rather than talking about what can I do to focus on my inner circle to continue moving the train forward?
Because what that does is perpetuate what's going on. You know what I mean? It perpetuates it. Go ahead. What you got, Herm?
It's like when you do that type stuff, what you're doing is looking for somebody else to come up with the solution and fix the problem when you yourself recognize there's a problem and you're supposed to be the fix. But you don't want to take on that. You know what I'm saying? You just want to point fingers and be like, why? Instead of being like, yo, how can we fix this and how can we turn this around?
Mm-hmm. You know, so. Yeah. What you got, Will? Look like you was about to say something. Oh, hold on. Go ahead. You got to unmute yourself, bro.
So it's real simple. Some call bitching. People gonna bitch when they don't have the courage to do what they need to do to get out of that situation. And you got a choice to stay in the room with them or let them stand there by themselves. Sometimes people like staying in those types of situations because they like the attention. I, for one, don't like that. So if you're a bitcher, you got that on your own because you're not man enough or woman enough to take care of that issue and face it and get past it. You stay there by yourself. That's how people end up in depressed states, but you don't have to take everybody with you.
And you know what? That's you're absolutely right. And I would also like to add to that you have to be, if you realize that there's a situation, okay, and there's someone else that can help guide you into a better situation, you also have to know yourself to know that you can and should be coachable. You get what I'm saying? You have to be coachable because listen, just because you've been doing things the same way forever, maybe it's time for you to change it up a bit. So the question is, when do you take a step back and not remove your ego, but exchange your ego for in a positive manner? Say, you know what? I know I'm about that life. So let me do whatever I have to do to get better in this current situation. Because if you're in one situation and you think you got it all and you're like, all right, look, I'm about to get it in this way because this is how we do it in the D. Wow. First of all, you ain't in the D no more. Number one. Number two, don't nobody really care. You get what I'm saying? So how can you change your environment but with your own personality in a positive way? And sometimes you're going to have to listen to someone that has done it. You get what I'm saying? But if not, then you're going to have a problem and you're going to recycle the same situation.
Yo, Seth, when you talked about being coachable, right? And I'm going to be real short with this one. If you're not coachable, don't expect to be a good coach.
Bro, you can't be. That's an oxymoron.
If you're not able to receive mentorship, you know what I'm saying? If you're not able to receive mentorship, you know what I'm saying? And when people are coming around you to try to help you, then please don't expect other people to be ready to receive mentorship from you. And you should understand why they're not, because you're the same kind of cat.
That's it. Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So, go ahead. What you got, Larry?
I'm gonna share something with you guys, man. I had a conversation with one of my coworkers a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a month ago. And the conversation, we talked for a good hour and a half. But the conversation went sort of like, "Hey, man, what's going on? What you up to?" You know, and it's referring to this podcast. And he came off like he was warning me to chill out, like some of the conversations and the topics. It's a little controversial or whatever. And you might start an uprising, like, "What you doing?"
Good.
He also told me that he got a call from one of my other coworkers that reached out to him but never came out to me. And it's like, "Yo, what's going on with your boy Catch, man? He changing." And it's like, dude, who I was 5-6 years ago ain't the same person I am now. It's called growth. And there's nothing wrong with having an intellectual conversation.
Yo, like, what Jay-Z say? What did Jay-Z say?
Y'all if you want to own me, go buy the old albums. That's what he said.
Exactly.
That's all I was getting. And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, I don't think we had a controversial topic yet. I think we're just having conversations that need to be had, that people, as you can see from this platform, folks are really chiming in and interested in it. That's all it is. It's like, I don't know. I didn't get it, man, but it kind of made me feel some kind of way. And then at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? It is what it is, man.
You know what?
Life at different points for a reason.
And I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Not just that, I appreciate the individuals that's tuning in right now, because if it wasn't for y'all, we would not be where we are today. And it's a reason for the Lion's Den. All right. These are the conversations that just a group of brothers have, and we try to make our space a little bit better. But in order to be a true man in my eyes, it's not just about your space. It's about the community and then some. So this is a way to do it. Now, if you're whoever it was that said something as far as, hey, not wanting to be on or you didn't change, good. Now, a couple of things that let me know they've been watching. You get what I'm saying? They've been watching one or two things, either watching the show or they're watching you. And the thing is, we are meant to evolve, right? The you today is not the same as the one yesterday. If it is, that's your problem. You feel me? But if a person can't dig it and they expect you to be the same, that's their problem. Straight up. Hey, and everybody that's watching live, shout out to y'all. Make sure y'all put in y'all area code so we know that y'all watching. We appreciate it. Seriously. Foots, man, what you got, Foots?
Yeah, I mean, basically like what you said, I'm gonna piggyback off of you. If you're not willing to grow and evolve and separate yourself from all the negativity that you got around you, you're not helping yourself. You falling back. So the biggest thing is you need to put yourself around positive people, positive thinkers, and like-minded folks that are willing to grow and build with you, or else you're failing yourself. Absolutely. Right. Well put, brothers.
Right on. Right on. And so that's a good, this makes sense. What you got, Will?
We're gonna talk about a little bit about this term called haters, right? So something I use when I provide mentorship to people is I say use that negative energy and convert it into positive energy. That negative stuff shouldn't do nothing but fuel you. When they say that you can't, you take that same can't conversation and you put it back in their damn face and you kill whatever it is they said you can't do. You go for whatever they say that you can't have, and you keep that mentality. You never let somebody negativity influence your progress. That's what it boils down to. You knowing yourself and being confident in your own abilities, and not let people like put out your light. They should not be able to dim your light because it's yours.
Yeah, and you know what? It makes a lot of sense, man. And you know what I would say too, to that point, I wouldn't necessarily say all the time that it's haters. What I believe it is individuals that cannot understand that energy. Okay, they can't understand it. So there's an old saying that is it a dog or I forget what it is, but nevertheless, a dog doesn't look back at every other dog that's barking. You feel me? If you on your game and you grinding, hey, stay on that. But don't get me wrong, it is hard. It is extremely hard because if it's individuals that you care about or individuals that you work with, it can feel away. You know, it can really, really feel away. What you got, Herm?
So my question is, we're talking about you being enough, right? And in a perfect world, it would always feel that way in a perfect world. But what do we do? What do we do? What do we keep in mind? I'm gonna ask you guys a question. When you really wasn't enough at that point, when you didn't get the promotion, you didn't get the girl, your relationship failed. You know what I'm saying? Shit is like burning down by all around you, and it's all centered around you. What do you do? Because we'll post it on our page, something that's important when we talk about suicides and stuff like that. What do you do when you feel like you was not enough? What do you keep in mind, fellas?
Ooh, shit. Hey, well, look, as you know what? And also, while we answer that, I would like you guys also that's watching live to tune in and give your comments. We'll post it up. And I'll get to you in a minute, AG. But what he was saying was basically, what do you do? You know, what do you do when you have done enough or you feel as though you've done enough, right? So let me see. Nate, what you got, bro? What you think about that?
So to go back to your question earlier, you mentioned that, you know, how often should you go back and take a look at yourself and dissect yourself? And I would say daily. Daily, you should be able to take a look at yourself and say, hey, what is it different that I can bring to the table? So that's part one. Part two, to get the Herm part or whatever, is that you go back to the drawing board. You go back and you take a look at your life and you say, okay, I started here. This is where I'm at now. And look at what has transpired in between. You have self-worth, right? You did not sit up there and just say, one day I woke up this morning saying, hey, I just want to fail. It never happens that way or whatever. It's something you told yourself. You woke up and you said, you have this desire. Herm, you are a senior master sergeant in the United States Air Force. Did you ever think that you would be a senior master sergeant in the United States Air Force?
I thought I'd be a thug for my whole life. So
man, if you don't shut up, hold on, wait, Nate, look, listen, don't ask him nothing.
I won't.
Listen, hold on, wait, because listen, he was either going to be a thug, or he was going to be a singer, or he was going to be a stripper. You dig what I'm saying? So don't ask.
I can't dance.
That's just Herm in a nutshell, right? But, you know, go ahead. I use Herm as an example, but that's for us that's right here doing the show right now, and that's for our viewers. That's for everybody. Take a look at where you once was to where you are, and tell yourself that, hey, if something's not right, how are you going to continue to sit up there and move forward? And that's why it's so important to know your value and know your why. You know, every day is going to bring a challenge, but it's how you attack that challenge and remove that barrier moving forward. And I'm not trying to sit up here and have a church service or nothing like that.
Yes, you are. Yeah,
I'm letting you know right now that everyone has equity. Okay,
yeah, that's true.
It's for you to understand, you know, what equity, what growth am I going to put out there today?
And you know what? So, and that makes a lot of sense. But one person's equity or one person's jewels, like I said before, is another person's rocks. You see, so sometimes what we have to do is make sure that whatever it is that we're picking up from someone, we're able to express it in that positive manner. But AG, my man's, all right, AG said, once you level up, it's not worth it to have small-minded conversations, right? Keep learning and growing while being humble. Let the critics, quote unquote critics, do what they do, because everyone has a job. Listen, y'all remember AG, look, that's my man's, but that makes absolutely sense, because thing is, we can't stop the flow. We can't stop the flow, man. And it was something I read the other day that said that you don't know where you are in the line of death. You get what I'm saying? You don't know. You don't know. Watch this. You can have 1 million people ahead of you, or you can be next. And guess what? No matter how much money you got, you can't do Chinese cuts. Y'all remember Chinese cuts back in the day where you like, hey, look, let me go over here and you cut. No, you can't do that. You feel me? So the question is, what are you going to do now to be the best version of yourself? You feel me?
Learn to play the guitar.
See, look, I'm about to mute your damn. You sound
man,
crazy.
On that topic, bro.
What you got?
I had a former first sergeant of mine a couple summers ago say that there's 3 levels in life. You either in the midst of a storm, you just getting out of a storm, or you getting ready to go in one. So to correlate that with Herm's question is, to me, you just got to find your circle, something like what we have here. Hopefully you got one, or you need to start looking into getting one, and you need to build your resiliency levels up, because life is not going to be perfect. It's not going to be fair. It's not going to be smooth sailing the whole time. You're going to find obstacles, and you're going to find yourself in a predicament where you don't feel like you're enough. I mean, to me, that's a test. That's a challenge. You got to look at it as a challenge, and you got to, dig deep and overcome it, man. That's part of life. Like we all, no matter how much we all looking like we got our shit together on this stuff, we all deal with stuff all the time.
And I'm glad you said that, because when you think about it, it all boils down to life and how we are maneuvering through it, and the individuals that we have in our circle that's really helping us to do that. You get what I'm saying? And honestly, I would say this live, and I'll say it in your face or wherever. I'm blessed to have a circle of individuals, man. Keep in mind, my circle is extra small. Like, I know a lot of people, but I'm close to only a few. You dig it? For that reason alone. Okay, that reason alone. And there's some people in here that's watching right now, and some that don't, because we don't have to check in with each other like that, but they know when it's time, they show up. You feel me? But if individuals don't have that, they need to your point, they need to have that circle, man, because, man, life, especially now, man, this shit is crazy what's going on right now. It's a reason, like, that's why we're having this show on a Wednesday, to talk about the things that's affecting us, not just as men, but as a community and commonality of just being human. You feel me? So that's part of that, man, just being enough. Hey, but look, before we transition, I want to let you guys know, especially if y'all been tuning in and watching and everything. I was going to wait to the end, but I just want to make sure y'all know, make sure you tune in Sunday, okay? And follow us now. Tag whoever you got to do, or whoever. Share this video, please. Please share the video, because we have a special guest come Sunday. So I'm gonna give y'all a little drum roll first, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have the famous, the infamous Freeway Rick Ross on the show, straight up, right here on the Lions Den. Believe it or not, he's going to be here talking about building the block, because what we're trying to do is make sure the things that we talk about, it's influential and it's contagious, and we want to have individuals that are a part of that. Okay, that's a part of that. And with this happening, everyone, I would say the 6 degrees of separation is less than you think and smaller than you think. So I encourage you, if you know individuals that have something positive that they want to say, something that they're doing, and that's helping out the community or any type of platform, please tune in and send an email to us, or you can just follow us and DM us, and then we get it to the producers and they can handle that. So, Will, what's one of your biggest struggles, you think, when it comes down to being Will from the Lou in uniform?
I would say, going back years, brother, it was my temper. While I was from, you say something crazy, you get hit in your mouth. You can't really do that these days. It's called being illegal, right? And trying to go to jail. So I would say dealing with people that are intentional in their actions, but very manipulative in how they exercise those actions, and not letting that bother me. By not letting people be oppositions, because competition does not exist. Figuring out how can I personally survive in that type of situation, giving my history. So I had to change a lot about me. I had to learn that it's not everybody else's fault. Sometimes it's mine, and I bring things on myself. But really taking that ownership, because if you don't have people telling you that sometimes you the fuck up, you the reason why that happened to you, and being able to take that. We talked about being coachable. If I can't do that, then I won't grow. So having a group of fellas like y'all in my life, it's my circle, y'all not only help me to hold myself accountable, but you also take constructive feedback. We have our powwows, but man, it's like a family more so than anything, where you cool with just being yourself. So to go back to what you talked about, the biggest thing is being real and being authentic, but doing it in the environment, in a professional military environment.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Larry. So you said something, bro, that made some sense, man. And you talked about the having an accountability circle. You want to speak on that?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I'm equated to the guys you see in these squares right here, and then some of the folks that are not showing up here, that's in my inner circle. But that accountability circle goes right back to what he just said. Sometimes you need people to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, man. That's real, and it sounds like a cliche, but that is so true. And I'm a living testament to this, because you guys have helped me get to where I'm at right now, and to continue to grow. So you got to have that accountability circle that tells you what you need to hear for real, and not all that they just go, yes, man, yeah, man, yeah. No. Tell me when I'm messing up. Tell me when you like, yo, man, come on, you know better than that. Yeah, you know what, you're right. That's right. The accountability you need.
Mm-hmm. And hey, Herm, I know you got something to touch on with that, but what I want to say to what you were saying, Larry, individuals know when, or especially your circle. Okay, you have to be authentic with the circle first. It starts with being real with your team. Okay, because the shit's gonna come out whatever it is. But if you truly want help, if you truly want to not necessarily help but evolve, right? Because you guys right here in this Brady Bunch circle, y'all have something that I don't, because you was born with something different that I don't have, which is cool. So what you can do is you can help me to highlight, or not highlight, but advance. And then hopefully I can do the same way. I can do the same thing for you, but in a different way, the only way that I can. But I have to be transparent and say, hey, y'all, I'm having this problem. What y'all think? Because I trust that you're going to build me up and not break me down. You feel me? So if you don't have a circle of individuals that you can trust, like there's people that say, yeah, that's my homegirl, but you won't tell everything. You get what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. Some people you have to compartmentalize, right? Because they mentality out of line. But when it comes down to really leaning on someone, having a circle to do that, man, I applaud you, gentlemen, for being who you are and doing that your own special way. Even Foots, look at Foots. He ain't even looking, but still. Look, Foots guys, Foots is down. He's been down with the team, and I do appreciate his authenticity. What you got, Herm?
I'm locked in over here like Jamaican here.
Jesus Christ. what you gonna say, Herm?
So I agree with you, man, and everything you just said. And one of the things that I do bring to the table that you don't know nothing about is being dark skinned. But to continue on, man,
bro,
is that
hold on, listen.
but hold on. Let me continue to kick facts. All right, so
Jesus Christ, why do he do this, ladies and gentlemen?
let me continue to kick facts, man.
Christ. Go on.
Hey, a lot of times, man, we keep saying that we want that feedback, man, but do people really want it? You know what I'm saying? Because if we provide feedback, you know what I'm saying, for me, you know what I mean, I like to come from the heart. And I want that to come from the heart from somebody else. I got to be honest, man, I don't receive a lot of feedback from folks to let me know where they think I'm slipping or whatnot. And for me, that disheartens me. I'm like, look, tell me, let me know. You know what I'm saying? There's a few people in my past that kicked me in the ass, let me know, hey, this is what you need to work on.
And you'll never forget them, huh?
I never forget them. You know what I mean? Like, I posted about them before, Daryl Ross, and there's quite a few other people, but it's like, yo, don't think of me as a senior master sergeant, somebody that's 260, probably beat your ass. I'm just a normal guy. You know what I mean? I'm just a regular guy. You know what I mean? Come talk to me. Let me know, because I do want that kind of feedback. And I
Pause.
challenge you guys, these guys in these squares, man, to let me know. Yeah. To let me know what I need to work on, man. I would appreciate that.
You know what, man, and I appreciate you saying that. And me and you, we had this conversation before about perception. Okay, perception, and we're gonna transition into that before we wrap it on up. But perception, do you guys believe? And I'll kick it off, and I will give my answer. But do you believe that perception is reality? Okay, because I want to go around and ask you guys, and also those of you that's listening live, please give your feedback. Now, my thought process is, and like I said, we talked about it, but the perception is reality to the eyes of the beholder. And in my opinion, it's a cop-out, meaning that if perception is reality and you're going to just go off of what your eyes see, instead of what your heart is telling you, or you don't have the testicular fortitude to verify for yourself, then it's a cop-out. Okay, perception does not have to be reality, because it's up to you to find out if it's true or not. And then once we have that conversation, either you see, hey, well, yeah, that's right, yeah, he's a jerk. I kind of figured he was a jerk, but he just verified he was a jerk. And sometimes individuals will go off of other people's perception and treat you a certain way. So what y'all think?
I agree with you, man, to a certain extent. Like, I would say perception is not reality, because we've seen it time and time again, where you have people that see the same thing the exact same way and interpret it totally different. And you can see the same photo and you all look at it and come up with different points with different visions, the way you see that one photo. You don't all see the same thing the same way. So yes, that can get you in trouble, especially if you use it in the wrong way and try to hold somebody to the fire with something that you perceive and not have that personal interaction with them. So it all goes back to going back to the old ways of just talking and having a conversation with that individual and getting to know and understand that individual. Because that is an old cliche that we need to drop and stop using. But we still use it.
Yeah, we still do, especially because of, what we do. And Monica said something as far as, it may not be your reality, but it's the reality that others see in you. And I will challenge individuals, because that may be true, but do you change who you are just to appease someone else so they can see you in a different light? Go ahead, Will. What you think?
So everybody know Allen Iverson, right? Y'all know the heartaches that man went through just to be who he was. Same great basketball player, crazy athlete, great heart, but people seen him as just a regular thug. But was that who he was? No, it wasn't. So I think sometimes you have to look at your surroundings as to how you conduct yourself. Now, some of the ways that we go out, will we be that same way in some of the environments that we go to? You got a professional environment, you got to bring that professional persona. Why? Because people judge you before they shake your hand based on perception. They determine if they want to do business with you based on what they see, what you show them, your attitude, your vocabulary, are you articulate? All those things play a part in how people forge relationships with you. So I think sometimes you have to get past that ice before you allow someone to see who you really are to a certain degree. Not saying that you're changing who you are, but you're adaptable. You got to be adaptive in this world today. Not changing who you are internally, but you have to adapt to those situations around you.
Yeah, you know what? And I believe you. I do. But however, Allen Iverson, in my opinion, that was a horrible example. The reason why I say that is because when they told his little ass to come to practice, what did he say? Practice. You get what I'm saying?
He did bust somebody in the head with a chair before too.
Exactly. So now, even though I understand what you're trying to say, but sometimes we give off that same type of confirmation that individuals may already have in their head. You get what I'm saying? Now, to what you're saying is, yes, if you're in a different environment, change. Allen didn't always change. You feel what I'm saying? But go ahead, Nate. What you think?
No, I think that one of the key things, what creates the reality is the trust and rapport that you have with the individuals. If you don't have the trust and rapport with the individual, then that's where the perception comes in. And it's your determination of what you think will allow you to think of that individual. For example, you may have a personality conflict. Say, for example, you come from another installation, right? And all you heard about was this individual did X, Y, and Z, didn't know how to adapt, didn't meet the standards, didn't do, the things that was called for that member to do. However, once they come to your installation or whatever, you get a whole different script. And the common approach is the fact that you have to sit down with that individual and tell them, I don't care about your past. Here you're going to start anew. Okay. These are the standards and expectations that I have outlined for you. So I say that to say this. Again, as I take a look at the live thread, it states that, it's typically in the eyes of the beholder or whatever, who you are and who is it that you want to be. If the other individual, if you're going in for an interview for a particular job or whatever, are you going to adapt or are you just going to go in and say, what's up? Because at any given moment, that individual who has the upper hand and you're going to them for the upper hand, what are you going to do to get to that level to where, okay, I need this. However, as Will stated earlier, I'm going to adapt. But then meanwhile, once you get in that position, what can you do to learn for yourself? So therefore you can be in a position to have that upper hand. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So basically you're saying fake it till you make it.
No, not fake it. No. And I'm glad
sometimes you do though.
And I'm glad that you bring that up or whatever. I don't want to get confused, fake it till you make it with being adaptable. I can be who I am and not change one thing. And I want to make that very clear. Sometimes that phrase is taken, way out of context. Oh, you just got to fake it till you make it or whatever, till you sit up there and do this. No, you bust your ass. You do what you got to do or whatever, and do what you have to do without losing your identity, without losing your credibility. As I stated earlier, you can be that way, but does the individual know how to substitute and change the paradigm or whatever, differentiating between both of those topics?
And that's
some people don't know how to do that.
And right, and that's the reason for having a crew and having a mentor. What you got, Herm?
Let me ask y'all a question, right? So you contact a realtor agency and you're trying to buy a house, right? Because we're talking about its perception reality. Now, your realtor pulls up in a 72 Impala, big body, bumping loud ass speakers, right? Sagging his pants, do-rag on, gold grill in his mouth, smoking some weed, coming to you. Is that a person that you want to buy your car from? Asking the question.
How much is it though?
I'm just saying.
It all depends on it. I think it all depends on my own comfortability. You see what I'm saying? Because with that being said, if I come from a place where I'm more comfortable with an individual that look that way versus what society says a person is supposed to look when they're selling me my car, I might want to. I mean, you know what? Truth be told, we do that as minorities.
But even I use that as an example. But it could have been somebody with a mullet cut. The thing is, if you don't look like a professional, I'm not going to think of you as a professional. Is the point that I'm getting to. You know what I mean? When somebody show me who they are, I tend to believe them. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I took this meeting serious. I could see you didn't today. You know what I mean? Like this is supposed to be a business meeting.
I get you.
Here you come with a big tobacco wad in the back of your pants.
Mm-hmm.
Am I supposed to take you serious? You know what I'm saying? Like, so if perception right then and there can be reality, how you present yourself. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. And it depends on also what you're looking for. Because sometimes you find what you're looking for because of your perception of that person. Hey, Larry, you had something, bro. Go ahead, speak on that.
What was that?
Muted,
I'm sorry,
Larry.
I forget I'm muted. My bad. Yeah. Hey, I brought up when we're talking about this perception thing, and you made a good example, Herm, when you're talking about the gold grill and all that other stuff, right? So we can flip that too. and put it on the other side where you got somebody that pulls up in a business suit and come off professional, and you like, yep, I'm with it. Come to find out, it's a Ponzi scheme where they done ran off with your money. You know, and there's an example of that when we talk about, I mean, let's be honest, we got command chiefs that got caught with child porn, but we perceive them in a different light because of what they have on their sleeves, right? And
right.
All that to get caught too. So you got to be. I mean, that's why I say perception not always reality, because you don't know what somebody got going on in behind closed doors. Even when you get to know them, like shit. Well, for all I know, I don't know what y'all do between the hours of midnight and 6 in the morning. You know, to be honest, you could be out robbing killing folks, but with it. But I'm just saying,
you absolutely true.
Perception can be careful with that, man. It's just. I mean, we all guilty of it. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, if somebody pulled up with a big body car like that and trying to sell me a house based off where I'm at now in my mindset, yeah, nah, bro, we ain't talking. And it just is what it is, right? But 10 years ago, I'm like, all right, bro, let's do business. You know, if you're talking right now.
Exactly. So basically, basically, when you change, the individuals that you feel as though is on a certain status should change as well with you. Okay, they really should. But hey guys, oh well, hold on, let me see. I want to make sure that we get everybody. Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. If you haven't done so already, make sure you follow us, right? I see you, Miss Monica. Shout out to everybody that's watching, and tune in. Don't forget, make sure you tune in to the show Sunday. Okay, it's going to be extremely important because we're going to have some jewels out there. And if you're just watching, this is who we're going to have on. We're going to have Mr. Freeway Rick Ross on live here at the Lions Den right here. You get what I'm saying? It's going to be dropping some jewels. It's going to be dropping some real good jewels. Oh, and by the way, before we go, I want to make sure you guys do know that we appreciate everyone that's given to the Teespring. I'm gonna show you guys something. There's we have a lot of material, not necessarily material, excuse me, merchandise when it comes down to the Lions Den, and we appreciate it. Look at this. Check that out. I got t-shirts. It's different colors. So if you see purple and black, don't worry about it. Like you get it in fuchsia. I think that's what Foot's got. But anyway, they got different colors. We got mugs and everything. We got hoodies for the kids now. We got workout gear for the young ladies. And we also got onesies for the little Lions pride, right? For our little Cubs out there. So shout out to y'all that has purchased. Oh, and keep in mind too, the t-shirts, because of what's going on right now, there is a delay. Okay, there is a delay. Nevertheless, you will get them. You will get them. Trust me. Hey, and you got yours, right, Foots?
Yeah, I got mine, bro.
Okay, good.
I'm waiting. I'm still waiting on a couple more shirts, but you know, whatever. I'm trying to get my Cubs. I'm just trying to get my Cubs right now.
Okay, I can dig you, man. You got to take care of that. But listen, everybody, we want to thank y'all for tuning in. Trust me, this has been a great show. And one thing too that I can that I like about it is that it's real, it's authentic. Okay, so there's times we may not have a guest all the time, but however, our viewers, you are the guests. All right, you are the guests. This is real. This is very real, and I want to make sure that you guys know to sign up, not necessarily sign up, but make sure you follow, share, and comment. Hey, Nate, you got something, brother?
Absolutely. Before you go, I just want to tell you and the team and all those that donated. Family member of mine lost their house. It's reported that 4 tornadoes touched down in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and the amount that was raised, which I did not know anything about. I truly appreciate that, and it takes a village. And team, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I truly appreciate you. Thank you.
No doubt. Ain't that what we're supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, we want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Corona Files, right? And make sure y'all in it Sunday.
My God.
We're gonna get it in. All right. Yeah, shout out to Tennessee. Wait, shooter, what is it?
Chattanooga.
Yeah, Chattanooga. All right, everybody. So, hey, look, we do appreciate y'all for staying on and staying with us and commenting too. All right. So we're gonna see y'all Sunday. Shout out to everyone. Later.
Much love, y'all.
You fight.
Love y'all.